Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Just real quick, this is a 3-part real-time painting tutorial. This is an original art trading card, and I am going to start doing some projects where you can go to my website and print off like a free pattern and follow along with me, you know, once you get you some supplies. But it's totally free. I'll post the links below. How to get to my website, you can just go to www.ronnebarton.com, and it's on the free stuff page. And once I get all the videos posted on YouTube for each project, I will also post them directly on my website, so it'll be easier to get to. But like I said, I'm going to start, I've got several projects in mind, step by step, going through it, so you can follow along with me. You can download those free patterns and stuff that I'll have on that page. I think it'll be really fun, and I'm really excited about it because I'm a teacher, not an art teacher, but anyway, I just like to teach other people, what I know. So anyway, I'll post those links below, but I just wanted to tell you that. Okay, thanks for stopping by.
Okay, now I have already painted her skin. Whenever I'm working on an art trading card that's this small, I kind of do the face first, because if I screw up on the face, I won't do it anymore, and I'll just throw it away. But now, of course, like on my bigger paintings, like I've told y'all before, I usually like to paint the background first. But looking at it and feeling it, I think I just used watercolor, because see, I'd done this quite a while back, and I went ahead and re-inked it. But I'm pretty sure that I just used watercolor very lightly, because if you're not careful using that bristle paper, if you get it too wet, it will buckle. But of course it will flatten back out, but sometimes when I've got some of my stuff a little too wet, I have put it between the pages of like a heavy book, and then by the next day it's flattened back out straight. But I'm pretty sure that was just watercolor. And I was going to draw a different kind of flower right there, but I changed my mind. I don't know that a lot about flowers, and I've already inked that, so that's how come I'm having to use a white pen. If this will work, I might just have to paint over that with acrylic. Sometimes a lot of times, y'all, my hands are kind of shaky. And I'll draw double lines and stuff like that, and don't mean to. Some days my hands aren't shaky. I think I kind of have a problem with my low blood sugar, so I have to be real careful. But real quickly, I love sunflowers. So, and I'm just kind of tracing in the background. Just a very far background. The sunflower. I kind of bring that up here. And by the time I paint it, you may not even be able to tell what that is back there. I don't know, I'll just have to give it a go. We'll just have to see. Okay. That'll be the center of it. Okay. Okay, real quick I'll go over how I painted her flesh. Okay, now remember, this, let me drag this out here. Now this is kind of dirty, I need to clean it. This is the Loew-Cornell watercolor palette, and it's the flesh tone right here. But I always, when I'm painting on this, when I'm saying I get that as dry as I can, let me show you what I mean. Oh, here's some clean water. Okay. So, oh, sorry. Okay, I wet it. Okay, let me kind of get that out because it's kind of dirty. Okay. Now I'm going to re-dip that brush in clean water. I get that watercolor just, let me get it a little wetter. And I even cut, that's how I try to get it as dry as I can. I've already got all these other fairies. See, whenever I do the original art cards, remember how I told you, I do a bunch of them at one time. And I forgot to film myself when I was painting the flesh for all of these. But, here, just let me get this piece of paper right here. But remember, like when I'm doing the flesh, and I also have a little bit of plain, you know, acrylic, but the outside of the fairy, remember? Now this is just quick here, okay? Of course, by this point I would have it inked, but I'm just trying to show you. And don't pay no attention if you hear some funny noises. My kids are out for summer break. I love having them home for summer. But I should use a bigger brush. Now see, it's reacting differently on this paper. Oh, sorry, it got blurry on me. It's reacting differently on this paper because this is just computer paper. You know, when I go around the outside of it, just with that flesh colored watercolor, the more water you have on the brush, the lighter it is. But like I said, you can't get that bristle paper too wet or it'll start tearing and look awful. And then as I work toward the center of the face, that's when I dip it, I roll it around in the watercolor, and then I don't have my white acrylic handy. Hang on just a minute. And of course too, a lot of times y'all, when you know, like I said, I do this different every time. I just put that right on the paper up there so I could show you. And of course it's reacting differently because this is just computer paper. But toward the center, I'm lighter. because it's, see? So the closer in, like toward the nose and the mouth, the lighter I get. Okay? So I just wanted to show you that since I had already I'm just going to go ahead and use that white acrylic since I got it out here. But be sure before you dip that paintbrush back in your watercolor and it's got acrylic on it, you better clean it off real good or you'll ruin your watercolor. You can also use those watercolor pencils. Like I said, I do it different every time. But seeing as how I don't really like I've used all of the good blonde color in the watercolor, so I am going to use a watercolor pencil for her hair. So hang on. Well, let's see. I always like to have a scratch piece of that bristle paper handy whenever I'm drawing, but I don't. I'm just going to do it over here on the side. Okay, now whenever I use watercolor pencils, I think I had to order these, y'all. It's Prismacolor watercolor pencils. I really like those. But this, for her hair, I'm going to go ahead and do her hair. I'm going to block it in on the outside with goldenrod. I need to sharpen these pencils, but those Prismacolor pencils, they're kind of touchy. And if you just wanted to use regular watercolor, there's all kinds of watercolor pencils. You don't have to have Prismacolor. That's just what I've got handy. I've had it for years. Now just lighter. Darker under here. When I'm saying darker, I'm putting more pressure. Because see, you can't get this that too wet. This is that bristle paper. Now before I do the other side, I want to see how that's going to react. Because right here in the center, I'm going to use cream. That's a Prismacolor watercolor pencil too. Ooh, yeah, I like that. Okay, now I'm not going to do anything else to that right now because I'm like that. By gosh, if I can't get it right from the get-go, I will not. Oh, there's some real nice clean water. Okay. Okay, I wet. Now I'm using a round 3 brush. Just real. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of white acrylic. To kind of lighten that up a little bit. And sometimes, you know, I like the dark lines. Sometimes if I lose my lines, I go back and fill them in because I like the dark lines. I can't help that. Okay, I'm going to leave that be. Because sometimes if I also get too much water, if you're not careful, you might make mud. But that's the one thing I like about watercolor pencils and acrylic and stuff like that. Doesn't matter. You can go back and add more layers. And if you want to use watercolor paper, that's fine too. Sometimes when it's wet still, you can go back over it a little bit like this, and it gives it a nice effect. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and come down here and color this in. And I do want it kind of dark under there because that's what gives it depth. Because that would really be in shadow. And sometimes afterwards, y'all, and I'll show you that in a minute, I also go back over that a little bit with watercolor. And I'll show you. Okay, we put a little bit of cream in there. I'm not putting cream in there because that's really in shadow, okay? Cream I'm just going to have on the outside and a little closer to her face. I guess I just like painting my fairies blonde. I guess it's because I have blonde hair. I also like painting them with big hair. And the reason I do that probably is because I've always wanted a lot of hair. But I've been blessed with many things, but beautiful hair is not one of them, but that's okay. I'll paint my fairies with big hair. Okay, I'm using, no, I don't want to use that brush, might be too fat. Oh, it's alright, that's a round 5. Like I said, even though I dipped it, you know what, guys, I might have told y'all a lie. I think I've got a flesh colored. I'll have to test that in a minute. Give me a second. Let me get this while I've got it right here. I mean, that brush is not tough. See, you have to be careful too, because sometimes if you, and it just takes practice, if that brush starts drying out, if you're using that bristle paper, and you take too many strokes in one area, that paper might start bubbling up on you. Or not bubbling up, but shedding, if that makes any sense. Now, right now, I've just got the white acrylic. Just trying to tone it down a pinch. See, a lot of times, if I don't like it as good as I thought I would, the color, you can go back over it with a little bit of watered down white acrylic and it'll give me the effect that I was kind of looking for. Just barely. Yeah, it's pretty. Okay, say it's starting to, oh, she's cute. Okay. If I feel like it's trying to buckle a little bit, I'll kind of, you know, don't do it hard because you'll make a wrinkle. Let me see. Let me see if this is that color, y'all. This is in that Prismacolor watercolor pack. It's light peach. Let me just get over here to the side, and I bet you I did use that. You know, I thought that looked awful thin. Her skin. Yeah, I told you it's a lie. But you can use regular watercolor, but I used the light peach. I've had to use that. The light peach WC2927 and the, I'm sorry, my hands are shaking, in the Prismacolor watercolor pencils. So what I probably did, I got dark in here, and a lot of times too, guys, I cross hatch. You know, I'll go this way and then I'll go this way in color and get lighter out toward here. And there's also a white watercolor pencil, and a lot of times when I get toward the center of the face, if I'm just using total watercolor pencils, I will just lightly with the light peach and then cross hatch the other way with the white. And that makes it, you know, it has a real nice effect. A lot of the same techniques and stuff that I do with the watercolor pencils or color pencils or crayons, for heaven's sake, or acrylic, I basically do it the same way every time as far as method. You know, like outlining with dark, then as I work toward the center of the face, you know, get a little bit lighter. In other words, add more white to it. That was a goldenrod again. And guys, you don't have to use watercolor pencils. You could, coloring with colored pencils, you could get the same effect with one pencil. You know, I like layers and layers and layers, but it's just all about pressure, really, and layers. But coloring, I'm telling you, that's good therapy. Sometimes if I get depressed, and maybe somebody else can relate to this too, sometimes if I get depressed, that's when I will make my best paintings. Isn't that weird? I guess because painting is an escape for me. And I just got the little white acrylic on there a little bit. Okay, now I left some in there, and I'm using light peach so that looks like the top of her head. Okay. Okay, now I'm getting a real little brush, And I'm getting into my watercolor here. This is a round 0, and that still may not be small enough. I'll try and see. Okay. Since her hair is like a golden blonde, let me start with this one. Whoops, sorry. It's like a light brown. Let me just see how it does. I might have to go the next shade up. That may not be dark enough. I think I'll be okay. I'm just going in the darkest where I would like it to be a little bit darker. I even put a few streaks, few lines, you know, to make it look like strands of hair. I usually try to have like I usually try to have like 3 or 4 shades. I think it looks nice when one does that. I might change her eyes to green. My eyes are green. But blue-eyed blonde. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to put just a touch. Let me see how it does. I always keep something handy close in case I don't like it. I want a little bit more shadow. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. See, just touches of shadow can make it look real nice. Let's do that little crease right there. You know, there would be shadow under here, under here. Maybe a little bit between the fingers. And knowing exactly where to shade, y'all, sometimes that just comes with practice. If it don't look right to you, then it's probably not. But you know, sometimes when I'm painting, guys, I don't paint sometimes with intentions of selling everything that I paint. You know? I just like to paint because I enjoy it. It relaxes me. But yeah, if I sell them, great. And if I don't sell them, most of the time I can sell these little art cards whenever I put them on eBay. And if I have one or two that I don't sell, well, I just hold on to them. I'll hold on to them and then try again later. Because some weeks be real good on eBay and then some not so much. That's normal. That's just white acrylic, y'all. You'd think that I'd do these real fast, but this is how come I'm doing this in real time. So you actually know that it takes me longer than 15 or 20 minutes to do one of these little cards. Okay. It looks like it's fixing to come a storm here. Hang on just a second. I hear one of my kids grunting about something.